Okay, hello everyone and welcome back to another video. And this video is going to be yet another in the series of underrated bands. And these are 4 more that I have been listening to over the years. And these bands really stuck with me throughout the years, just like the last few that I talked about having in my first video of the series. So, band number 1 is Strung Out. Now these guys were signed to Fat Records for quite a long time, and they're honestly one of my favorite bands on the record label, to be honest. And that's because their guitar playing is just absolutely on point for the genre. A little bit more technical than most bands that were in this genre at the time, but the guitar playing was very good though, for sure. And I like the tempo changes they can do, which kind of shows that they have great instrumentation. And if you listen to other bands in this genre that came out a little bit later after these guys started, you can kind of hear the influence actually from them in a lot of the music, for sure. Even bands like early Blink-182, like you can hear it in them, that they kind of got influenced by these guys a bit. And honestly, I think they were one of the best bands of the skate punk genre, to be honest, along with a few others that I'll mention, even including one other in this video. So number 2 is Osker. Now these guys only made 2 albums, but both of them are definitely great. Treatment 5 and Idle Kill are both great albums. I have both of them on CD and think they're both absolutely perfect albums. And of course, after this, Devin Williams went on to make a solo project and a few other bands. There's another band, like a kind of jazzy type of band. I wasn't into it too much. I was more into like the early stuff. His newer stuff kind of depresses me a little bit listening to it, so I don't really listen to his newer stuff because of that, because I just think it's kind of too depressing. But Osker was like the perfect band that he made, and I wish he would have stayed with the band, but of course he split the band up because he thought the scene was becoming too like conforming, which I can kind of understand, you know, at times with all the elitists out there and everything that say, hey, this band is so much better than so and so because they were around before these people. You know, all sorts of reasons people will come up with their elitist logic, but Osker was an absolutely great band. He released many great songs. I can actually play a lot of them on guitar at this point because I've heard them so much, and they were one of my favorite bands on Epitaph of around that era of like 1999 to 2001, and they'll still go on to be a great band for me. So number 3 is Pulley. Now these guys were kind of a more skate punk kind of band too, like signed to Epitaph and everything, and I'm not sure if they were signed to Fat Records. They might have been, but I know that they were signed to Epitaph for quite a while. And this band actually has the lead singer of 10-Foot Pole from the early albums, like I think Rev possibly. And these guys made many great albums. I have heard, I think, almost all of them. There's maybe 1 or 2 that I haven't heard, but most of the ones that I've heard are definitely great albums, have great melody in them, great instrumentation. Of course, you know, some people would say these guys didn't really add anything new to the genre, but, you know, they're just an all-around good band either way, you know. I just think they definitely performed the sound almost perfectly, for sure, and I thought they were a great addition to this genre. And I discovered these guys actually through Punk-O-Rama, just like I did Osker actually. And both bands, as soon as I heard 1 song from them, I instantly got hooked on them and checked out their whole discography. And thank God for Punk-O-Rama series, because there are so many great bands I would have never discovered if it weren't for Punk-O-Rama. And I even have a poster of it on my wall right up here, so it kind of shows how much, you know, that those compilations have impacted my music taste, for sure. And number 4 is the World Inferno Friendship Society. Now these guys, of course, aren't that big of a band at all, actually. I actually discovered them through a compilation called The Bank Shot of Records Story, because I was heavily into the band Osker at the time and wanted to hear more bands like them, and I checked Spotify. I see this one compilation, you know, that has a song by them that I'd never heard of, and I listened to the whole compilation, and these guys definitely stuck out. I'm like, these guys aren't really famous, because, you know, I heard their song, Cats Are Not Lucky Creatures, and it was like, how is this song not in a commercial or something, because of the way it sounds? Like, it's kind of jazzy, you know, they mix kind of jazz with alternative and a little bit of punk there, and I think it's actually a great combination, you know. I haven't heard many bands pull this kind of sound off in general, but these guys definitely did a good job on it. I think they're underappreciated for it, you know. There aren't many other bands that I can name off the top of my head, like I said, that pulled this off, but if you guys can find any that are, tell me what they are, because I'd be interested in hearing them, actually, due to the fact that these guys, you know, pulled off a good sound for this, you know. It was definitely melodic, it was, you know, a bit slower paced, and kind of, you know, just fun to chill to on a night, you know. So that's pretty much it for the underrated bands that I have talked about in this video, and I'll probably talk about many more in the future because I have so many that are very underappreciated, specifically, you know, in the punk genre especially. There's a couple metal bands I'll talk about too that are definitely underrated, but that is it for this. If you guys have any underrated bands you want me to check out that I might not have heard of, put them in the comments section and I'll check them out, and I will see you guys later. Peace.